something is being hidden from them. I think that's one reason why people ended up, as we gotten older, leaving their church. Um,
Hello, Mase.
Shalom, Rabbi.
So, for this week's podcast, I would like to ask you a bit about where you live and what is your experience with people being connected to Christianity, and what's the situation today since you were a little kid and today are people still very believing in Christianity, or on the other hand are they trying to figure it out really where the truth is? What is your perception, and tell us, where do you live?
I live in a border town, so I live in the McAllen area of Texas, the Rio Grande Valley. So it's very close to the Mexican border. So Mexico has like a very high, like a percentage Catholic population. Here in the Rio Grande Valley, it's like, I would say, very high percentage Christian, particularly Catholic, but all sorts of different churches around here. At the same time, there's also there's a lot of other things like that people do because of their background in Mexican culture, of other forms of idol worship, even of like other um I forget the name off the top of my head, but there's this one figure that's like a skeleton. They make altars to this figure. They pray to it and they do certain things. And actually, like, there's actually a large percentage of people down here that have had like supernatural experiences, even, and not all positive, right? Some very negative ones. So an unusually high percentage, because also this is like a very rural area and it's now become more urbanized, and that was more common when I was a kid. But even now, to this day, that still exists.
and
But I would say, as far as like, go ahead.
and in your area, is there a lot of Christians?
There are, yes, there are, and then sometimes it also gets blended with other religions because of that, because of like cultural background and stuff. Um, And then as I've gotten older, I feel like there have been more people distancing themselves from religion, but I would say it's probably still more religious than other parts of the country. But there is a sense also, as I've gotten older, I talk to more people that do question it and that also have a sense that certain things have been covered up or withheld from them, like information that has been withheld from them, or they'll ask questions and they don't receive answers, or they ask questions and they've been told that it's not a good question to be asking, or like to just follow on faith, to not ask so much, and that they just need to have faith. So that's also gotten some people to question more, and to just generally have the sense that something is being hidden from them. I think that's one reason why people ended up, as we gotten older, leaving their church. Um, some of them, maybe they still believe in a creator, but they think like, okay, but whatever they're telling me, I know that's not actually the truth, or it's not the full truth. Um, and so that's definitely something that has changed as I've gotten older.
And
Whereas before it was more like, just don't question things.
when was the last time that you have been in a church?
The last time I was in a church was, let's see, when I was going to church, I want to say it was like shortly after I came back from college. So maybe 2012, 2013. That was probably the last time that I was in a church. And so,
So that's like 12
and
years.
about 12 years ago. Um, and even then, like, as I was growing up, my family never really stuck to one church very long. I want to say like maybe a year or two we would be at a certain church, and then a lot of times it would just be like, okay, they're teaching things like, okay, well, this isn't actually in the Bible, or there would be something explicitly in the Bible, and then they would say, well, we don't teach that. So we're like, okay, well then, like, what are we doing here? Let's just go somewhere else, because they don't have integrity. So we would just end up going to another church, and it would just be a matter of time before the whole thing happened again. So we would go, okay, can also go to another church. Okay, but we don't agree with this. Okay, well, that's what it says here. So okay, let's go to another church. So, and it was like that for a few years, basically. Um, and a lot of other people have had similar experiences, and that's also why they feel like, okay, well, it is that we're being told is clearly not. There's something that's not. How do you say it? It's not adding up. It's not making sense. So they end up a lot of times they either become atheists, or they just, sometimes people think, well, no, I believe in a creator, but I just know that whatever I'm getting at church is not really the truth. So they end up going off and doing their own thing. Um, Sometimes people will do like try to find out the truth. Of course, like it just depends on what they happen to stumble upon, the information that they have around them, and that is end up what they going. Unfortunately, sometimes they either create their own religions in their minds, or because a lot of them don't have access to the accurate information, or to someone with an education in this as their background, or like a rabbi. So that's then usually what ends up happening.
Okay, and do you think it would be a good idea to create a local conference with a priest and a rabbi to discuss biblical sources in the area, try to nourish the minds of those that are hungry for knowledge and for authenticity? What do you think? That could be done from the side of the priests? They would accept that?
I don't know. I think some people would. I think you'd get at least someone down here that would probably be open to the idea of like a discussion. I think it'd be beneficial for people like who really want answers, and people who have felt like they didn't really receive either genuine answers, or that they were just told to not question things. I think people would show up for that. And I think they'd be willing to listen and to hear it out. People who have felt like, okay, well, yes, I think there's something greater that's out there, but I don't know what. And I feel, or if they feel like, oh, some information has been withheld, I think they would show up to hear that discussion, and to look a little further into it.
Okay, good to hear that. If you hear of anyone or you want to organize, do let me know. I'll call Rabbi Singer. I'll tell him that's
There
it.
you go.
Macy wants you to come to Texas to organize a debate, and we'll be on our way. And maybe I'll join in afterwards. What from now on, and Bezat Hashem, we'll try to provide for everyone with his authentic path of his personal relationship with the Creator, and a reward in the world to come, this time for real. Thank you, Mase, for being with us at the Noahide Academy Weekly Podcast. I'll see you next week. Bezat Hashem.
Thank you, Rabbi. Yes, see you next week.
Thank you. If you like these videos, please like, share, and subscribe.